Hank, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing okay. When I say the wind is blowing out at Wrigley, does that bring any memories back for you?
It make me want to find a bat.
You think you
no,
could?
it should be. I don't know whether I think that even with the wind blowing out, I think the pitchers will probably control the game in some ways. It's been a very good series so far.
Well, when's the last time you hit a home run?
I'm sorry, Dan. I didn't hear you.
When's the last time you hit a ball out of the ballpark?
I don't remember. I really don't remember because it's been a long time since I picked up a bat.
And also,
and the other day I had the privilege of throwing the last pitch at the stadium in Turner's Field, and my arm got to a certain point, and it said, "Don't be no fool. Drop the ball and leave it alone."
But growing up,
and my wife got on me. She said, "You can't even throw it for halfway from home plate to the kitchen." I said, "No, I can't." I said, "It's gone out, Dan. It was there, and it's not there anymore."
You grew up, you batted cross-handed, didn't you, for a little while?
I did. In fact, I was talking to some friends of mine the other night at the World Series, and they was bringing up the same thing. And I said, it's a funny thing. I did that all through playing in the Negro League, and then when I got into professional ball at Eau Claire, I started playing hitting bat, left-handed switch hitting, and until the bat slipped out of my hand and broke. You know this fellow, the name Wes Covington.
Yeah.
Broke his nose, and the coach told me right then. He said, "I want you to stay on the right side."
That was a good decision. What do you have memorabilia-wise that might surprise me from your career?
From where now? I'm sorry.
From your career, what kind of memorabilia? Balls, bats.
I don't have anything. I really don't. I've given everything I had to the Hall of Fame. Everything. I don't even have a ring. I've given everything. In fact, they've been very kind to me, and I've given them everything, and rings, watches, everything. And I don't even have. I got one watch. And there was a time when I had at least 45 or 50. I gave them all. I gave it all to the Hall of Fame.
Wow! If you could have one thing for yourself on display at home, what would you want to put out there for people to see?
It would have to be something in the batting department. I think I would have to have a bat, 7'15", 7 foot, somewhere in that order.
Oh, so the bat you use for 715?
Yes. That would be my logical choice.
When you look at the home run and what it means or what it used to mean, would you be a different hitter now? Where remember it was embarrassing if you struck out anywhere near 100 times. Now it's almost like that's the badge of courage here for hitters that you're supposed to strike out 100 times. So how different would you be now?
I was talking to my friend, Willie Mays, about 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, and I was telling him, I said, Willie, I said, if you and I played today, I said, they'll probably send us back to the minor leagues because we didn't make enough. We made too much contact. But I think that the most, if I can answer you this way, please, the most embarrassing thing that happens to me in my 23 years is walking from home plate back to the dugout after striking out. No, regardless of who's pitching. And we faced some very tough pitchers, Koufax, Gibson, and all these Hall of Famers. And I just felt like it was very embarrassing for me to strike out. And nowadays I think I've seen hitters strike out and go back to the dugout and almost laughing about it.
Yeah, it just feels like it's not a big deal to strike out anymore, but I understand what you're saying. Like the worst feeling you could ever have is I struck out, I didn't help my team, didn't put the ball in play, and that pitcher got the best of me.
And that was my motto, is to do everything I could. In fact, after talking to Jackie Robinson for for so many years before he passed away. He said the best thing that you can do for your team is go to the home plate. Now, he put it very simple. He said go to home plate and make sure that when you go to touch home plate again, and you have done something to help your team. And that's the way I felt all of my 23 years. I felt like the batting average was good, the home runs were good, but runs batted in was even better, and runs scored was even better than that.
He's Hank Aaron, Hall of Famer, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. I don't know how many years you, I'm trying to think this, when Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, how many years after that before you got your chance to play with the Milwaukee Braves?
It was 19, boy.
Was that 54, 53?
It was 54, that's right, yes.
What do you remember about Jackie Robinson with what he went through and what he meant to all the other players who came after him?
Well, what he meant to me, I always would pick his brains, no matter where he was or whether he was playing with the Dodgers and had an off day, I would always go and sit and talk with him. And the thing that I remember for him, he said, the game of baseball is great. He said, but the greatest thing is what you do after your career is over with, what you do with it. And that was one of the things that really stuck in my mind for the 20-some years that I played. I played the game. I was blessed enough to play the game for 23 years. But the most important thing, I often tell my wife this, the most important thing is that what I can do for others once my career is over with. I was blessed because the good Lord gave me the ability to play this game. But by the same token, I have to be blessed enough to understand that I have to help others.
Could you have done what Jackie did?
I don't think so. And I say that and not knowing, and because he really went through an awful lot, and anybody said that they could have taken what he did, I don't think they understood the things that he went through. I don't know that I could have. And to be honest with you, I had enough problems when I was chasing the Braves record, and I know that was just the tip of the iceberg, just what he went through.
Did you save any of those letters? Not that you should, or it's bad and horrible what people wrote. Did you save any of those things that were sent to you?
I saved most of them.
Oh, you did?
I saved most of them. And the reason I saved them is because I am blessed now with 5 grandchildren. One is at Michigan, and she's done quite well. And I have one in Arizona. He's done quite well. And I just want them to understand that it wasn't long ago that I, too, was to hinge of racial discrimination, So, yes, I saved quite a few of them.
And they were terrible what they wrote, Hank.
They were very bad. They were very bad. But, the thing that was so bad about them was the fact that in all of the interviews that the police and the detectives and whoever was else in charge said that all of these were just crank letters, but it may be one in there that meant something, so you have to check them all out.
Did you realize that was Craig Sager, who was at home plate in that white trench coat after you hit the 715th home run?
Oh, yeah. Craig and I were very good friends. In fact, one day you need to talk to him and ask him about he and I going to Cuba many, many years ago, interviewing those Cuban ball players. Yes. Oh, yeah, I knew that was Craig. Craig was, I thought a lot of him. He's a wonderful man.
Do you follow the Colin Kaepernick protest with him kneeling on the sidelines?
I do a little bit, and yet, I don't put myself in that position. I say that the only thing I can say for him is that he knows exactly what he's doing, and I have to go along with it.
So you understand it. How would that, obviously doing it back in the 70s probably wouldn't, or 60s wouldn't have gone over well. But the fact that he's doing it, you don't have a problem with it, or you understand why he's doing it?
I don't have a problem with it, Dan. It's him. I don't have a problem with it. He knows what he's doing, and I'm sure that he's a grown man and he understands what he's doing.
Can you describe what the feeling is like when you hit a home run for those of us who will never get that opportunity?
Well, I think that the feeling that you get, you hit in my case, of course, I hit 755. So quite naturally, when I hit the ball, I knew each time I was a fly ball hitter, as they say in baseball. And once I got the ball up in the air, I knew that I had a good chance of hitting it out of the ballpark, and it made me feel good. And how I felt was that I don't know that you feel in a way different than you do when you get a base hit to win the game. I mean, all of those things stick in your mind a little bit. So I feel good about it.
Well, I wondered it, and guys have told me that it's effortless. That you swing and it doesn't feel like you're doing anything when you hit it out of the park. Is that fair assessment?
Well, and part of that is true. You're absolutely right, and part of it is true. I think that when you swing the bat, I've always said when you make contact with the ball, the ball is coming in at 80, 90 miles an hour, and you make contact with a bat, and you hit it squarely, you hit it well enough, usually you have no feeling, but it feels so good, once you hit it out of the ballpark.
Did you ever have a problem that it was Willie, Mickey, and the Duke, or it was Willie and Mickey, and you were sort of left out of the bigger picture or the national picture of great players in the game?
I felt that way, and yet I looked at my position. I said, I'm blessed. I was blessed. I was blessed to have played all of my career in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I don't know, coming from Mobile, Alabama, a little country boy, a little black boy coming from Mobile, Alabama, would I have fit in good in New York City? I don't know that. I really don't know. So in some ways, I was blessed because I played in Milwaukee. We didn't get the hype as they got, as Mantle and Mays and those guys in New York got. But by the same token, we were loved. We were loved, and I felt it. And being 19 years old, it really made me feel good because it was something that I probably couldn't have done or couldn't have happened to me in New York City.
Yeah, I think Mickey had problems with it. He, country boy from Oklahoma got in there, and you're playing for the Yankees, and you're supposed to be the next Joe DiMaggio. Whereas Willie didn't have to follow anybody, playing for the New York Giants there. But it seemed to, it was good and bad for Mickey Mantle.
Yeah, I know, and I talked to Roger Maris before he died, and he had this same kind of trouble, not because of the people in New York, but because of all the hype that he got when he was chasing the Babes record.
Yeah. Hank, it's always great to talk to you. I really appreciate the time, and I meant what I said. Growing up, I remember the poster of the 715 home runs I had on the back of my door in my bedroom, and I remember all those pictures. So special moment whenever we get the opportunity to talk to you.
Dan, I want to say it's a special privilege for me to talk with you. I watch your show every morning. I watch it every day, and you do such a marvelous job.
Well, thank you.
I said thank you for very much. And anything that I can ever do, please don't hesitate to call.
I got my producer gave me a birthday gift. It's the New York Daily News with your face on it when you hit your 715th home run. And at the and it was it's one of the best presents I ever got because it's just so simple, but he knows, what you meant to me when I was growing up. So once again, great to have you on.
Thank you very much, Dan. It's so nice talking with you, and may God bless you.
Thank you, Hank.
Your show is wonderful, and I really enjoy it. Thank you very, very much.
All right. The great Hank Aaron joining us on the program.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.